Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I would like you at the neighboring booth to stop your discussions and to come to our booth, to our forum. You get important information on the subject of electric mobility. Welcome at this Sustainability Forum of EMO. I am Martin Faulstich, and I have the honor and the pleasure to be presenting for the next 2 hours. Yesterday, we had a forum on carbon neutral production, and this is really the core of the trade show, but the organization of EMO and the German Machine Tool Manufacturers Association specifically asked us whether we could organize a specific forum on electric mobility. And we said that we would gladly do that. So we've got next presenters lined up. Well, they're all men, so the gendering hasn't quite worked here, but I would like to introduce myself quickly. I'm Martin Faulstich, and I have been university professor for a long time at different universities, Munich, Clausthal, and Dortmund. And my chairs always had energy resources and management in their names, so you know where it's coming from. But I'm a mechanical engineer by way of my training. So that's my background. And the co-organizers are the INZIN Institute in Düsseldorf. We have lots of industrial companies as our members who found grants, and we've got 15 people who are striving for a doctorate, and it's a federal state institution by North Rhine-Westphalia, where we have a sort of network, and electric mobility and sustainable mobility is a very important subject here. Now, today we have a very broad portfolio to come up with, and this is the introductory chart. We all know that until 2045, until 2050, until recently, we want to be carbon neutral in Germany. And everybody's talking about the energy turnaround, but the energy turnaround, as you know, only accounts for 20% of the final energy consumption, 50% heat and 30% fuels, so transport and mobility. So if today's energy turnaround is finalized, it would be an electricity turnaround only. So electricity, heat, and the industrial and the transport sector have to be decarbonized in order for us to get to our goal. And that brings us to electric mobility, e-mobility. But it's not only about e-mobility. Now, when looking at the transport and when trying to organize this in a carbon neutral way, we'd also have to talk about vessels and aircraft, and that would really go beyond what we can do here. So our focus today is on transport and mobility, and it's not identical, these two terms. In our Council for Environmental Issues at the German government, I said once, transport really only includes the modes of transport getting from A to B. Mobility is much more. The demands to cover short distances, and this would really be a task for urban planning. Paris is striving for the 5-minute transport, so that everything that you need to do, going to eat something, going to school, going to work, that you can all do this in the course of 15 minutes, so that mobility would be much more than just changing the mode of transport or exchanging the diesel engine by another electric propulsion unit. So we're going to hear a lot about that in the presentations. We'll start right away. So I'm going to present the presenters. Martin Dudek will be presenting the keynote speech, but as you know, almost all other presentations would have been suitable as keynote speeches. We've just picked out a few aspects, as acceptance of e-mobility, for instance. This is not as good as it should be. Bidirectional charging, that's a technical topic. Then fuel cell systems as an alternative, although this is also electric mobility because the actual engine or motor rather is electric. And then we've got a rather specific subject, alternative drives in the waste management. Hamburg is a big city, and in the final statements, this is going to be focused on Mr. Brandner and Mr. Maas. Both will both be celebrating their birthday today, so congratulations to both of them. And the greatest present to them is really to be able to present something at EMO. But I hope that you'll have time to celebrate with friends and family tonight. Right. Our technician will then call up the right presentation. The interpreters are here too. We've got 3 interpreters here actually. Simultaneous interpretation is always a very demanding job, I assume, and it takes a lot of competence. So we'll start with Mr. Dudek, and even without electric mobility, he could have got here on foot because he's actually from Hanover. Regenerative energy technology is a subject that he read at the Technical College Nordhausen, and he is now with the Lower Saxon Federal State Authority for Road Construction and Transport in Hanover. He's responsible for the electrification of the vehicles, and they, of course, don't only want to advertise, they also want to be a role model and also electrify their own vehicles. He was at the Office for Mining and Geology before, and he probably thought, well, mining and this sort of thing isn't future-proof, so let's do something else. I'm glad that so many people have come, and I will now ask Mr. Dudek to the rostrum and start his talk. This is a magazine, Sustainable Industry, Nachhaltige Industrie. So if you want to write an article for this magazine, then you can address Ms. Daman, and of course you can also get trial subscriptions for this magazine.